Jason, welcome to the program.
Hi, how you guys doing?
Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. Good to see you as well. How are you all?
Excellent, thank you. Jeff, on to you.
On to me. Hey, Jason, how's it going today?
Doing pretty well. Happy to be on with you guys.
Man, I am fascinated by what you've got going on, and I've done a little studying on it. But how about enlighten me a little bit? You guys seem like you're speed demons to a certain degree, and you got some awesome looking race cars.
Yeah, that's one thing that that we definitely pride ourselves on and really try to cater to is the all-out pro level time attack builds. We really want to create a safe, competitive, and fair format for those types of builds. So if you get people from other walks of motorsports, other walks of life that maybe want to put a team together, where you don't have to live so much in a box and you're not competing against other drivers, but really just coming up with the fastest car that you could put together with the best team and the best driver that can go out there and chase and hopefully get that one perfect lap at the particular track on that particular competition. And again, that's really what we try to pride ourselves and create a home for those types of cars. Now, of course, we've got an enthusiast class and a street class, which are two of our lower classes before you get into limited and unlimited, which are more of the cars that you're kind of referring to with the big aero,
Right.
high horsepower. So you see a wide variety of cars. Most of the events kind of look like what you would think is like a pro-am type event. You get some of the amateur looking type cars, but you also get some cars where you're like, wow, those look like professionals. And most of the time they're just amateurs as well, just with a professional looking outfit and professional looking cars.
So how many, again, you mentioned them, but do you have a distinctive number about how many different classes are available for people to compete in?
Yeah, we have, there's four that we call traditional time attack classes. Starts off with enthusiast, where you've got the most limitations on your aero. You're really limited to what you can do. You got to have full interior. The car needs to still be registered to the driver that's actually competing with the car on the track. Next one up is a street class, where now the rules start to get loosened up, and it really starts to look like, especially if someone builds it to the extent of the street class rules, it really looks like a time attack car. Aero in the front, aero in the back. Interior gone from basically behind driver. You could take the rear seats out or the rear panels out, but everything, your back forward in a street class car needs to retain all the interior. Even the radio, if came equipped, needs to turn on. Which I bring that up because it becomes a point of contention many times where someone says, I did everything but I don't have the radio, so can I still run street class? And hey, rule's a rule. It doesn't matter if it was that or if it was an extra wing. It's, for us, it's also aesthetics. We want to build the fan base, and we want to help train the fan base to the rule set, so when they watch our live stream broadcast of our events, or if they're actually at the competition watching live on the scene, but I hope that they can get to the point to where they look at these cars, and because of some of these things, that they could differentiate between what's an enthusiast class car from a street class car up to a limited class, which is the next class up, where you're not limited on tire width, so you can go real wide, but you still have to run a treaded tire. We run a spec tire with Yokohama, so you have to run the AO52. And then above from that, we have unlimited, to where you could run a slick, and 99 out of 10 times they run a slick in the unlimited class. Aero, that's like the full-on aero, flat bottoms, huge diffusers, big rear wings, some even front wings, or so yeah, those are usually the ones that attract the most attention, but they are the most feisty of the bunch, meaning, a lot of them, they're just built to the max, so horsepower wise, you're talking, the competitive cars, hard to compete if you don't have over 600 horsepower that you could lay down out there. You know, a lot of them pushing 800, 900 horsepower, some 1100, 1200. So it's some amazing stuff to see. You know, I was listening to Jim Ryan on with you earlier, not to date myself, but I remember walking around the halls with him back at EMAT Peterson Publishing at the, you know, over there on Wilshire Boulevard back in the day. So yeah, it was great to hear him, but also listening to what he was talking about, and you were asking him some questions, and it was making me think about, you know, the evolution of the sport. You know, horsepower numbers have grown, you know, since we started Global Time Attack back in 2010. Our first full season was 2011, and just everything from the stickiness of the tires to the skill level of the drivers to the skill level of all the different people, whether if it's suspension tuners, engine tuners, aero people, and usable horsepower. Again, that's what made me, he said that, has just, it raises every year or two to just these insane amounts now. So, you know, now when someone goes out there and if everything's hitting on the right cylinders, meaning everything's working, driver lays down a great lap, you're going to see a record in any of the classes. It's really fun to see it. That's what makes the competitions real fun.
Well, I want to back up here a second because you mentioned this, and I want to make sure we kind of delve off into it for those who maybe haven't, which I haven't seen it on your streaming opportunities with your streaming. So how do you go about being able to watch one of these events so you can get better acclimated to what's going on and maybe kind of figure out, okay, where would I fit in? You know, am I crazy enough that I'm gonna, you know, get me a second mortgage and get me a, you know, one of these open class, or do
Right.
I belong down here basically in the street division and need to kind of get my feet wet?
Right. Yeah, you know, so that's another thing that we're kind of tasked with. You know, we don't have a, you know, official, you know, junior league or whatnot. So we try to do the best that we can in education, which you could find easily on our website. And also, you know, we'll touch upon it many times throughout the live stream. We'll put some graphics up that show some of the basic bullet points that, you know, mainly make the differences between the classes. So, you know, people can kind of easily say, well, oh, okay, well, I've already, you know, put a full 6-point cage in my car and it has no dash and it has no interior and I never intended on putting it back in there. Well, I'm probably going to be stuck in unlimited just due to that, regardless of anything in the car. So there's some of these big sticking points that we try to do a good job at putting out there to the public during our live stream productions. You can find our live stream. We run it concurrently. It's the same broadcast, runs at the same time on our Facebook page. If you just search Global Time Attack, also on our YouTube page. And also this year, we've been on Twitch. Not sure if you know about that, but it's another live stream service that's super popular with the gaming world, video games. But there's a couple people that work there that are into cars as well. And they reached out to me about a year ago if we were interested in broadcasting on their platform as well. And I'm really glad we did, because it was amazing. They put us on their homepage and it turned out to be a really good thing for us. So that's another platform that we put our live stream production on as well. And of course, YouTube has them on demand, so you can always go back and watch there as well.
You were describing, you know, that if you did this and built this and did that, it would put you like in an unlimited class. What on the lower classes are you're expected to have in the car then? Do you know, that you require for safety precautions and things, you know, you got to have some kind of structural cage in those cars? And do you have to have, you know, what type of safety stuff are you required in the lower divisions?
So like, let's take the enthusiast class, you know, for instance, the interior needs to remain stock. So, you know, stock seat belts, got to wear a helmet, of course. Now, if changed your seats to a like, let's say a fixed back racing seat, then we require you to now match the belts to the seat, meaning you need to run a 5-point minimum harness,
Okay.
meaning submarine belt. And we require that. Now, if you want to run the stock seat belt with that, we'd require you, we're not going to pass you for tech. You need to go put your stock seat back in if you want to run the stock belts. So that's something that we run across a lot, because sometimes that's a modification that someone will do is put a seat in their car, but then keep the factory belts, because they drive the car daily, which I kind of understand, but at the same time at the track, it's just not the smart move. And I got to knock on something here, but we don't want to see anybody get hurt. That's the last thing that we want. So we do the best that we can to go overboard as much as we possibly can on the safety. So that's definitely a big sticking point. In street class, it's recommended to have a roll bar, at least a 4-point, but it's not required. In the limited class, it is required to have a 4-point, and in unlimited, it's required to have 6.
So where, when you're putting together your schedule and everything, where do you race at, and how does your schedule work as far as when do you start and when does the season end?
The funny thing is, it seems like it started back in 2011 and it just hasn't ended yet. It just I'm sure you know what I mean by that. It's just like people are like,
you just kind of chase the weather. You're like golf, you just go wherever it's warm.
No, you know it. No, you're 100% right. And also, growing up and still living in Southern California, you can, go to, Buttonwillow or Willow Springs or Chuckwalla pretty much year round, and track your car, during the week, or, depending upon what they've got going on the weekend. So we're kind of spoiled with that. So, but anyways, I guess this is what we would consider this our off season right now. We look at the regular calendar year as our, one season to the next. So we just, one thing I'll bring up first before I start with where we start and where we end at. The thing with Time Attack, it's a lot like a football game, or I should say the Super Bowl, meaning that it's a one-time gathering, usually once a year at a really awesome circuit. It's the cars aren't really built to do this every weekend. They're not built to do 40 laps or run for 20 minutes, or I should say run for 40 minutes, at speed in a race. They're really built a lot like drag race cars, but built to go around a circuit, which is, arguably even tougher than to go straight. So again, we try to pick really awesome places to go to and try to hype up and make it really big and get people used to, okay, we're going to go here on the same weekend every year, and, make it an annual thing and plan around it. And that's what we've tried to do over the past 10, 11 years or so, is kind of try to find our groove at certain spots. Some of them we've been doing this at for a long time, some of them only for a few years now. But if you look at Pikes Peak, it's the third weekend of June every year, basically, COVID permitting, that never happens again. But that's the same type of atmosphere and kind of even like anticipation and mystique that we're attempting to build at these different locations. So I'll jump into it real quick. Every March, we kick off the year at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, at COTA, the F1 track. It's our biggest event of the year. So interesting enough, we kick it off. It's just the way the schedule works out to be there. It ends up being our biggest competition and our grandest event, and it's what kicks the year off. After that, and we've been doing that one since 2019 was our first year. And it's been relatively the same time, late February, early March. Now we've got March 10th through 12th is when we're going to be there in 2023. I'm sorry, 10th to 12th. March 10th to the 12th in 2023, we'll be there. And that looks like that should be our home weekend for now on there. And like I said, we started there in 2019. The event's steadily grown. Back in 2020, even with COVID going on, it was really just kind of actually just starting to kick off. I think we had about 2,500 paid spectators, non-promoter number. And then 2021 with some restrictions, we had 4,000, which was really great to see for people being excited about this type of racing. That was special, after all this time. working on it and watching the drivers, all their blood, sweat, and tears that they put into these cars and their teammates and whatnot. And then last year, or I should say 2022, earlier this year, we had 5,000 paid spectators. And that extra 1,000 doesn't seem like a whole lot, but it really seemed like there was a lot more people there. And again, it was a really awesome feeling. So that's become an annual thing for us. And again, that will continue to be our flagship event. And it's really where we put a lot of our extra effort into. With it being in the middle of the country, we actually get some spectator support from people just flying in and driving in from surrounding cities and states. And same thing for the drivers. It's a lot easier, for someone in any area of the United States to make it to the middle as it is to go from coast to coast. So that's another thing that works out pretty nicely for us. Every May, Mother's Day weekend, we join Formula Drift at Road Atlanta on the Friday, Saturday, right before Mother's Day weekend. We've been doing that event with them since 2012. I believe Formula Drift has been doing that event maybe since, I don't know, 2006 or 7. They've been doing it for a long time there. Luckily, we were able to join them back in 2012 as a support series, and it's been an annual gathering for us ever since. We run in the morning and kind of early into the early afternoon, and then Formula Drift takes over the track and they do their thing. So it's great. It's a good cross-pollination for us to each year show our sport to a ton of these drift fans that are out there. And over the past 9 or 10 years in a row of going over there, we've built a little bit of a Time Attack fan base that knows that we're there every year as a support series. The last couple of years, GT Celebration, not sure if you know of that group. It's a newer racing group that's out there that does about 5 or 6 events around the country for older kind of retired GT cars. So there's some pretty cool cars out there on track when we're not on track as the third support series. So it makes for a pretty cool time out there in Georgia, in Brazelton at Road Atlanta. And it's such a legendary course. So again, going from COTA F1 course to a legendary course like Road Atlanta, it's another awesome place and another awesome venue for us to be at. And luckily for us to call home for so many years. And again, we'll be back there this May. It's May 11th to the 13th, I believe, 2023. Third one, and this one, we just started going there about 3 years ago, and been continually trying to build out a fan base up there, or I should say like a spectator base up there. It's a track called the Ridge Motorsports Park. It's up in Shelton, Washington. It's about 45 minutes to an hour south of Seattle. So it's not too far from civilization. And there's, actually, towns and whatnot and people that live around the track. I'm so used to here in Southern California that the tracks that are left are so far in the outskirts, out in the high desert of the desert, that it's nice to have a track where there's, some actual civilization around it. But anyways, the Ridge has been great. They partner up with us on marketing and working on making it an annual event to get spectators there. They bring food trucks out. They're looking to do some music this year, possibly at the stage and some things like that. Aaron Losey from Lone Star Drift down in Texas comes up with his drifting group, and they do drift ride-alongs at a drift exhibition. The track actually allows us to have him do full course drifting, and that's quite a spectacle. Not many courses allow drifters to go out there and do that, so that's kind of a fun thing. So we do that like once or twice a day to kind of break up the Time Attack sessions and create something extra for the fans to see. We have a car show at that one as well. So there's a lot of other things going on besides just the global Time Attack competition. And the drivers that have that we've met that are from the area, we get people that come down from British Columbia and other parts of Canada, and of course, all over Washington State and from Oregon. The Colorado guys like Ryan, come over for that one as well. And you know, some drivers that hold some records at other tracks for us, like Amir Bintatu and Cable Rosenberg, they've come and driven that track in their cars, and they're like, this place is a winner. Like, you should keep it on the schedule. The course is a lot of fun. It's got their own version of the corkscrew coming down from the backside of the ridge onto the front straight. Pretty cool course. So, you know, I trust the drivers. You know, they said they like the course. It's challenging. It's worth it for them to make the trip out there. Cable comes from Arizona. Amir Bintatu comes from Southern California. So yeah, again, it's definitely, it's become a home for us, and it's always the third weekend of July. We're there July 22nd to the 23rd, 2023. And then usually in September, it's kind of every other year is the way that works out. We're usually at New Jersey Motorsports Park at the Lightning Circuit over in Millville, New Jersey. Not sure if it's going to work out this year, to be honest with you. There just seems to be a scheduling conflict like every other year. So, you know, we kind of skip it every other year. So I'm looking at maybe adding something in September, maybe giving, you know, kind of an extended break during the warm months right there, possibly. I'm not really sure yet, but either way, we always end it at Buttonwillow over here in the middle of California, November 10th to the 12th. 2023 is the date for next year. We were just there November 12th and 13th, so just a couple weeks ago. Yeah, that event's been going on, and it brings me back to Jim Ryan. It's back to the days when I used to work with you know, alongside him and the rest of the guys when I was at Super Street magazine. John the Dairy, who was the editor of Super Street at the time, and the people that were the editors at like Sport Compact Cars and some of the other magazines, they want to put together a time attack event the week after SEMA, trying to take advantage of the people that were going to be in Vegas that week, and to try to get them to come out to Buttonwillow on the Wednesday after. So anyways, we put together a quick rule set, and we threw a time attack competition on the Wednesday after SEMA, and it became an annual thing, invite only. That was 2004. It went on until about 2010 or so. When I started Global Time Attack, I went back. Luckily, I still knew some people that worked there that let me in the building. I got a meeting. And long story short, you know, with their permission, I took back over that event, and I eventually made it a spectator friendly and open registration, not invite only. I moved it to a weekend. And we've been doing it on the weekend ever since. And it's a 3-day event now. Friday's practice and a load-in day. And I call it like the time attacks, the time attackers time attack. It's a nerd paradise of time attackers. It's not heavy spectator. We're not doing a drifting ride along. We're not doing a car show. It's just back-to-back time attack sessions. And we try to open up to as many cars that we could fit without creating traffic, which ends up being about 75 to 80 cars total in the competition, spread out over 5 run groups. So it ends up being 14 to 17 cars per run group or so, maybe 18 max. So that's what we try to do with that one, is try to get everybody involved. That event, again, it's been going on since 2004, right after SEMA every year in November. And you get a lot of people where some of them, it's the only event that they do. And they've been doing it for so long, like and again, we're not at that level, but I love Pikes Peak. I've been to it a couple times and it's spectacular. I recommend going to Pikes Peak if you can and watch the Pikes Peak International race. It's unbelievable. But you have a lot of people there where, they've been doing that event for, running up the mountain for 20, 30 years in a row. And that's like, the main event that they do each year. And that's just what they build their car for. So I don't want to deny those people that are locals to California or locals that have come out from Arizona or from surrounding states that were a part of the event at the beginning. So yeah, we've just kind of kept it that way to kind of still keep and kind of hold on to some of the tradition, which has been fun. So it's been good. Like I said, we just wrapped that up. So I've got a little bit of for a little while, but we're only 100 days away from Super Lap Battle at COTA. I saw someone from the team put that post out today, and I got, gosh, 100 days, here we go. We're already back on the grind,
Already got the countdown going on. I know how that is. I know exactly how that is. Well, really, we appreciate your time and the insight as far as what you do have working, and it looks like it's growing. And good luck with it in the future. And maybe one of these events. Road Atlanta is not that far down the road. Maybe I just need to jump in the car and come down and check it out personally. And that way I can have experience and get a chance to say hello to you. I'm going to be remiss if I don't do this, because this individual, Haley Meyer, said, she's super lap battle driver and competitor here. Jason puts on a phenomenal event. Thank you and your team for all you do. So just wanted to know you had some support.
That's very nice. Yes. She's great and great driver too. That's really cool to hear. That's what it's all about. Yes. Connect me with him, because you should come down to that event. I'll set you up with a VIP experience,
right.
Check the drifting out and whatnot. It's a whole day. It's a whole thing. It's good fun.
Jeff
Okay.
needs a drift and we need a video of that.
Hey, I've done drifting. You just don't understand how good I can be.
Okay, well,
Oh, I was
thank-
talking ride along.
Oh.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jason.
Thank you guys for
You
the
did
opportunity. I
brilliant.
really appreciate
Thanks,
it. Thank you.
Jason.
Registering on ePartrade is easy. To start, click on the Join for Free button on the homepage. First, search your company to see if it's already in our database. If you see your company on the list, click on it to select it. Then, choose Claim Company if you are one of the decision makers, an owner, marketing person, or main company contact. Or choose Join Company if you are an employee, and press Continue. If you couldn't find your company in our database, select Register a New Company. On the following page, fill out your name, email, phone number, job title, and choose a secure password. If you chose Register a New Company, you'll need to choose your business type. Select Supplier if you're looking to display products or services and connect with buyers. Choose Racing Business if you're looking to source new parts and connect with suppliers. Choose Race Team if you own or are a member of a professional race team. Then, enter your company name. Please provide a website, Facebook page, or LinkedIn if you have one, and choose to either claim or join the company. You can view and agree to our terms of use here. If you'd like to receive our weekly newsletter, choose Accept. Finally, click Register Now and your registration will be submitted for approval. An email will be sent to your inbox. Please confirm your email address and you will be approved shortly. Welcome to ePartrade.